it's basically the story that's driving everything. So I that's not the criteria why I sign a film. Ki the actor has to be of either my age or younger to me or little older to me. I can't decide that, you know.
Hi guys, this is Ankita. You're tuned into PeepingMoon.com, and in this digital era, Vaani Kapoor has taken upon herself to take us back to the retro fields. Why not just ask her what's making her do it in the bell bottom and just entertain the audience? Vaani, first thing first, welcome to Peeping Moon.
Thank you for having me.
Vaani, what's with this bell bottom era you're taking us into? How can, if you have to ask you to sum up, what is the bell bottom's journey for Vaani per se? How it has to be?
It's been very, very smooth, I must say. I was very easily slipped into the whole era bit, and the period is is a period which I'm also very familiar with. I mean, I was born late 80s, and I've seen movies from the 80s as well. So for me, it wasn't very alien, and it was actually pretty refreshing, you know, because you don't get to play parts which are period based and, you know, era based like that. And working with Akshay Kumar, of course, when he joins you in a period film like that, it's all the more, the ride gets more entertaining and exciting. So it was a lot of fun, actually.
If I have to ask you, however silly it may sound, what was your first memory of wearing a bell bottom?
Oh, wearing a bell bottom?
Yes.
When did I wear a bell bottom? I can't remember.
Because I was going through the comments on the trailer, and everyone has been comparing your style cushion to the divas back in, you know, the 70s era. They're like, oh, it's a very big barbish like. So I'm like, I'll ask Vaani, what was her first memory of bell bottom?
I think I just pick up anything and everything, whatever. I'm very fashion. I'm not so fashion forward, honestly. Like whatever looks good on me, I just pick it up and I wear it. Now I know the distinction between a bell bottom and a what is that, like a fully flared pants. Now I can distinguish, you know, like they're not palazzos or anything. They open up from your knees. So yeah, I have a better idea of what bell bottoms are. But when were they in fashion? They were in trend. Now I think that they're coming back in trend again.
They are out of like the blue.
Yeah.
But Vaani, what's it with you? Almost like 7 to 8 years in the industry, you consciously are picking subjects and you're taking a long time to come to the screen. Your fans must be having a long wait. It's like 2 to 3 years wait between projects. Now hoping that next couple of releases of yours are lined up simultaneously, as it seems to be. But what's it with delayed releases?
I think now this pandemic messed it up for everybody. I had 3 films coming back to back. Now the pandemic took out 2 years of our precious life. So those 2 films are also out for release. Like we're just hoping for theaters to open now on, you know, on 100% occupancy, and things to normalize, and, you know, everything to get back to normal. So this was the pandemic's fault. It's not my fault.
Vaani, there's an interesting observation, and correct me if I'm wrong here. When you did War with Rukh and now with Bell Bottom with Akshay, one thing which everyone has been talking about, and I'm asking you, that why there's this so much of age difference between the leading lady and the lead actor, and you know, what is this entire proportion of doing a film where you have a small role in comparison to the leading face? Does it bother you, all this noise around when a film is especially coming out, and the discussions which just take away from exactly the film is? I don't feel like age difference is my criteria to sign a film as an actor. I see, you know, what the story of the film is, the content, and the filmmaker, my part in the movie, and you know, it's basically the story that's driving everything. So I that's not the criteria why I sign a film. The actor has to be of either my age or younger to me or little older to me. I can't decide that, you know. And I'm only going to count my blessings and be grateful for the fact that I've gotten to work with such 2 big superstars, you know, and they have so much credibility. I mean, these audiences, you know, want to watch them, which is why they're doing these films, and I'm one of those audiences who want to watch them. You know, they're brilliant at their job. So yeah, that is not for me to say, but like you said, those 2 films, again, I was very aware that even in a war
movie. The movie was about Hrithik and Tiger. But luckily I had a substantial part in the film. I know the screen space was very limited, but it was written very well, and she was substantial and consequential to the storyline of the film, which helps the story to progress and for Hrithik's character to go rogue, or whatever the changes that happen. So I feel like sometimes it's just not in your hands. Yeah, it could be a mere coincidence, or just the fact that these are the parts that came to me, and I did say yes, keeping in mind that the parts that have come to me are still very beautifully written, and they're not daft, and they're not floozies. I'm not trying to be one of the daft floozies in their films. And they do come up, when these mega stars come, people do expect the story to be about them somehow. So it's a very audience filmmaker relation, like what audiences is wanting from these actors, they're delivering it to them. I hope someday I can be doing a film where I can have a brilliant, like how in Dear Zindagi, how an Alia Bhatt had a film riding on her shoulders, and there was a Shah Rukh who was backing her up and being there and supportive as a co-actor, but letting her lead the film. So I hope someday that can happen to me. It'll be wonderful. But those many films need to be penned down, and those many films need to be created in future.
Vaani, if I look at your career choices per se, you have almost picked all the flavors in the films. There has a live-in relationship topic when you just started your debut, like a topic which we normally don't show per se in films. There's thriller, we have historical sorts of coming in Shamshera, we have Chandigarh Ka Riyashki, the subject of which is pretty much unknown, but yeah. And then we have Bell Bottom doing the thriller. What's it with you? How do you pick the role as per like the genre? This is more exciting, or it is, what's the gut feeling when Vaani's picking up a role?
I just see it as in tonality. A script, when I read, is it a good script or a bad script? Or is it an average script? Then I mull over like, okay, let me think about it. But those many films are coming to me, those many offers, from which I'm trying to pick the best out of the lot that has come my way. And I've been fortunate that we see, that is what I keep telling people whenever they ask me, why are you sitting at home, or why are you not getting films? I am getting films. I'm trying to pick the films that can create something new, for me as an actor also to experiment. And in whatever capacity that I'm part of the project, I try to do something that I've not done before and not repeat what I've done before. And there are many other factors that, of course, also come into play. But I'm very, very happy with, like how you mentioned Shamshera and Chandigarh. They're such poles apart films and very unique in their own ways. One is a period historic drama, very, again, something I've never done before. And even Chandigarh, a very, very cool film. So I really wait patiently for good stuff to come, and I get that confidence from filmmakers who've actually called me on the basis of the work that I've done in the past, where they have liked my work. A lot of them also wait and watch to see if you're credible enough an actor for them to cast, in their films. A lot depends on credibility, on various factors, whether you could pull in audiences on your own. So yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to build now. I'm trying to do films sensibly, as sensibly it seems to me. Yeah.
But does the wait and the way that you are waiting per se to get a good script your way, does that insecurity also comes along, that sometimes there is too much of wait, and we know the kind of competition which comes in every single day in industry, in whichever healthy way. But does it weigh down you sometimes that maybe I'm taking a little more time than I should be, or maybe my fans are waiting for me a little more eagerly, and I'm just, I'm just giving them
I really sometimes I genuinely wish films could come faster to me. Those projects that I want to be part of can come sooner to me, and I don't have to waste time and be patient. But it's a very conscious decision also that I've taken, and it's a decision that's not been thoppered on me. It's my own decision coming from me. So I'm very aware of what I want, and I'm extremely aware of what I don't want. So that is like out of the question. Now what I'm left with is what I want. Now what am I getting out of my aspirations and from however I'm seeing myself, in the kind of films that I want to do. And then it gets easy, it's a very easy yes and a no when you have that clarity, I feel.
One is another thing which about Bell Bottom which stands out for the fact is that it's not just Akshay's trailer, if I have to honestly put it. You, Huma, Lara, especially Lara Datta's look when it came out.
Transformation, yeah, look.
Yeah, it just created a huge wave.
Yeah.
How do you fit yourself in a film where there are so many good names, good actors, and the placement it gives you as an artist?
I honestly, I think a film becomes only stronger with strong, credible actors when they join, So as in tonality, what we're looking at is the end product, the final product. The more better actors in a film, the more for an audience to enjoy that film, And it's incredible to just have more talented people, like be it a Huma, be it a Lara, be it anybody in the film, be it, other cast who's been cast in the film. Everybody is so imperative for the storyline to be taken forward and make the experience more enjoyable for the audience. And yeah, that's what one is hoping for.
Before I close this with you, is there a thriller film which you actually took into account while doing Bell Bottom? Because the vibe of it is like, as I said, this very retro, we are going back to the 70s, 80s. But was there a reference point in your mind when you were sketching out your part, maybe just in case, or maybe when Bell Bottom first came to you, you were like,
and strangely in Hindi cinema, you don't have too many spy thrillers.
Yeah, there barely any. Yeah. Was there any other reference? Maybe not. Maybe in just Bollywood, maybe West something. Which
you have James Bond and you have all Sherlock Holmes and all these thriller, very cool films and cool, stuff that's out there. But I genuinely this time I didn't have any reference to this. I mean, this girl was so different, a very different world in a different period. Her body language to her way of thinking, to her way of enacting, and everything was very different. So I couldn't pull any reference from Hollywood. And in India, I don't think people have done too many spy thrillers either. So it was very refreshing. I just went by whatever my director had, pictured her as. Yeah.
Nice. And Vaani, lastly, it's a compliment which, if you have noticed, on your Insta captions, which I was going through when I found that there are Vaani and songs always work. There is always like one song from a movie, Vaani does it, and it just, it's the number of the season. So we have such Touchwood, and we had Ghungru from War. Do you realize that sometimes these numbers actually end up becoming so big than the film at times?
I'm so happy if that's happening, and I'm very, very like I do realize that I've been very lucky with some super cool, uber cool songs, and I hope people give that much love to a Sakya too also, and Marjao also, and I just hope they also work. But yeah, I'm very happy with the songs and dance, and I do feel like the kind of industry that we are in, songs, and they have a lot of relevance, songs in a movie. They do take the whole storyline forward, and they help in entertaining us a lot, because we don't have so many singles coming out as many as when you go watch a movie, the experience becomes more grand with these songs. And yeah, I feel lucky that I've got some good ones.
But can't wait to see you on big screen. You are opening the theaters for us again. After a long wait, I think it's Bell Bottom, which is, I'm hoping, as they say, getting the cash just as ringing at the ticket window. So fingers crossed, and wishing you all the best, Vaani. Thank you for this lovely
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ankita. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.